and that's why Nakanda is talking about now helping people to recover. The deputy president is saying that now we eradicate the drinking in the Mount Kenya because when we do that, already we have broken the chain. And because the consumer is not there, definitely your products are going maybe to develop where they tier, and that will help the country to really make this man, this boy child, we are saying that is dying, to become sober and be able to help the economy to grow. So we have to eradicate all these kind of people, from the manufacturer to the trafficker to the pusher to the peddler. Then as a result, the consumer is not going to be touched because the consumer is the owner of money. Now coming out to the question you're talking about now, how to help now this particular person.
Yeah, the consumer now.
The consumer, because now is a target of all these people who are selfish for their own good. Now this is a consumer that now need to be taken through what you call now the wheel of change. The best intervention is to take this individual through the wheel of change, and this wheel of change, it is a tool that was brought forth by two professionals, Prochaska and Clemente. The wheel of change has got 6 stages that the individual need to be taken through. And the first stage is whereby we need now to do now the campaign that now EBN is doing. You create awareness. And this awareness should take place anywhere and everywhere within our country if we are going to help our nation, Kenya, and say that I'm proud to be a Kenyan again. Yes. So, and therefore, at the pre-contemplation level of this wheel of change, we need to create awareness, and that's exactly what now Nakanda is doing. That creation awareness is going to help people to discover they are not ready to change, but they are being told about the dangers of these drugs. Then they make a choice. And remember the free will versus determinism. So they make a choice whether they would like to change or not. If they decide to change, now they enter the contemplation stage. And at this particular point now, the counselors need to be handy, work with these people now. This is somebody who really desire to change because they have developed the willpower. Remember the pre-contemplation, they don't see the need to change. They are saying again they are very young, and God has given us 70 years. They can change at the age of 69 years before they enter 70 years, and they still go to heaven. So they are having all manner of excuses on this earth. So now we need to create that kind of an awareness so that they see the need. The aim of the helpers or the counselors and the psychosocial supporters is to create awareness and to show the people the need to change, even though people do not see the need for changing, because they are doing the balance sheet and saying that there are so many advantages of not changing than changing. But now the helper, the professionals need to create awareness of why you need to change. Then when this individual started now contemplating, the helper still need to continue to help them to see the need for changing from abusive drugs to whereby they can become good citizens. Then this will create now what we call now motivation. Yes, they will be, and once the motivation has come that surely I need to change, then this determined person now, this one by now, they are engaging now professional counseling services, and if the intervention, the counseling interventions are proper, they are appropriate, the right models have been used, this individual is going to be maintained. Yes. Yes. At the point of maintenance, again, we normally say is a struggle. Sorry, before we go to maintenance, there is a stage called action stage. Action stage is whereby now they have decided they want to see a counselor. They want to see Counselor Cynthia. I need an appointment with you. Now when they come to now, use now psychological interventions, including also spiritual interventions. Then once your counseling has become effective and efficient, they'll come to the stage of relieving the drugs. That's the maintenance stage, and they'll come out. They came as sinners in the quotes. Now at the maintenance stage, now they become saints. But that maintenance stage is a struggle because they can relapse even 100 times. At the maintenance stage, because the system has been used, you used to clear a crate of alcohol every day. Now I'm telling you stop immediately because you've decided to leave these drugs. Withdrawal syndromes are there, the craving is there. If the support system is not there, a good support system, chance of relapsing is very, very high. And so the sixth stage is called relapse. But at the relapse stage again, let us not allow this individual to go out to the pre-contemplation stage again. Once they relapse, the counselors need to work with them again through the contemplation, determination, action, maintenance. Let's not allow them to go back to the pre-contemplation. And they can, I've seen they can relapse even 99 times, but still this individual will come out of this. And when they come out, they become good people. They even become the champion for talking about the dangers of drugs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Relapse is sort of something that, can be very predictable at times. So do we have to go to the extent of secluding these people from the public? Do we just, put them aside and keep them at a certain place so that we can deal with the relapse, no matter how many number of times it comes, we just deal with it? Or do we now have to, as we maintain them, they still, just go on with their daily lives? What do we do now?
Very good. I've seen that there's a struggle there. Remember, we are social beings. So at the point of relapse, now when somebody has reached maintenance stage, one of the key things we need to do is that now to prevent the relapse, we need to identify now the most appropriate measures to assist this individual without necessarily trying to create sanctions. We are social beings. I still need to remember, like, if somebody has gone to the drug rehab, the 90-day program of rehabilitation, the colleagues, the peers have been missing you for the last 3 months. So as they are waiting for you, they are having gifts. And against the gifts, it's still the same thing that you want to be removed from is the one that they are waiting for you and tell you that we have really missed you a lot. So now what's supposed to be done is that this individual require a very strong support system, and the support system should include the family, should include also having the other recovering addicts like him or her, being able to come together to have group therapies so that they can be able to talk about the struggles they had and what has made them to overcome this. And they also need now a lot of mentoring. Actually, this is whereby now I need to work with you now. I need to hold your hand and work with you. Mentorship. I need to work with you hand in hand and be ready to me as a mentor to accept that my mentee or my protege can inconvenience me. So then again, also we need to strengthen now the family, because I might have gone to the drugs because of the challenges within the family. So we need to ensure that also the family is undergoing regular counseling. You, the abuser, you are only the identified patient, and you're not the problem. The problem might be the system, which is your family. Therefore, your family also need, because this is a caregiver, the family need also to continue to be supported. Then, of course, we also need professionals like this, the medics, who are supposed also to be checking in case of other, what we call comorbidity, other underlying conditions that might be making this individual to go to the drugs. They can also be intervening, including now the counselors who can be able to come even to the family to do family counseling. All those services, when they are put together, they are called anonymous forums, they are said, definitely will be able to assist, and ensuring that at least we also strengthen the community. What we call now the neighborhood watch, whereby we ensure that everybody is saying no to drugs, and we are creating a lot of campaign and a lot of awareness, and the various forums are being said. This will be able to assist this individual to stabilize.
Yeah, when you walk through this city, not just Nairobi, but also other parts of the country, you'll come across street children, young, and they've got bottles, which I believe always has glue inside it. And when you look at them, they're definitely in that severe case where you can now say this is an addict. Now, for these people, street children who've got no access to education, have got no access to basic things like water, they really don't have that knowledge that maybe what I'm doing is dangerous. For them, it's more of for survival. Let me take this so that I don't feel hungry. How do you go about that? Because it's so different from somebody who's got access to education, is very bright, has got family around, but it's just that he or she is the addict. So how do you go around helping these street children?
Thank you. Actually, the reason for going to the streets, again, it starts from the genesis, home. That's one of what we call psychological runaway. is a defense mechanism that the family has become inhabitable. It is not habitable. The family, and as a result, I am not physically and psychologically mature to be able to start on my own. Therefore, the best way is to do what we call psychological runaway, which is now physical runaway. These children, if you stay with them and interact with them, you discover it's not their wish to be in the streets. It's not their joy. Chances are they are lacking the basic needs. And remember, every time basic needs are not met, it doesn't matter who you are going to misbehave. Your behaviors are going to be maladaptive. Like today, you hear the warnings about the demonstrations. The cause of these demonstrations is just basically the food, shelter, clothing is the reason for this. The Kenyans are not bad. They're not all that bad. They don't want to cause this kind of unreal things. The reason is basic needs are not met. And like you said, water, very critical. They are not able to get it, and then the support. Now, what needs to be done is that it is me, the person of the helper, to know that our Creator has got no problem with being in the streets. The person is not the problem. The problem is the behavior. God does not have a problem with the sinner. He has got a problem with the sin. So it is now the point whereby now professionals need to come in and they realize what they learned during their training, that we are supposed to reach out to these people. Then we create now a channel whereby they can be able to be helped. And some years back, I'm under the new by farm I see. So we and somebody in the state of Nairobi called the Karisa Maida, who sometimes back decided to remove all the street families in Nairobi and took most of them to the drug rehab centers and others national service. So a program like that needs to be done right now to be able, first of all, to show these people tender love and care. And the entrance behavior is by not see them as the town menace or as criminals, as spenders, as bad people, is to show them tender love and care. After that, we need now to create a forum whereby can be able to show to put them to change their environment. First and foremost, we need to change the environment. If you have been stealing food because of problem in your house, I need to put you somewhere by you'll be the one to be cooking the food so that you eat enough. Your behavior, your bad behavior will change. So we can be able to ensure, first of all, we have got a program that can be done. We remove these people from the place of danger, because in the streets that's a danger. The same way in case of child abuse, the first intervention is to remove the child from danger, keep them to a safe haven. After that, now intervention needs to be done. So we need to come up with a program and the community now program so that we remove them from the street, keep them in a safe place. Then interventions need to be done there, and you'll be surprised that these people, they might be the one holding the destiny of this nation of ours. These people, God might use them to change even the economy of this land when we take them through the process and assist them to recover.
Yeah, and you've made it sound like, it's a collective effort. It's
Yes.
really not just what Cynthia is doing, but because it is bigger than me, it needs more of a community program, because there's so many street children who are affected by this. So it's a collective effort. And we've talked of program, which of course brings us to the issue of rehabilitation. And because I know we are almost out of time, I'd love you to speak on the rehabilitation part, and then I'll pose a question which is quite interesting that someone has asked through a social media platform. So if you also do have any questions, you can send them out now so that we can ask before the end of the bulletin. Now, the rehabilitation part, I don't know if this is it, because I watch movies, and if you look at just what is the concept that is brought out in the movies, is that rehabilitation can be so painful, and most people don't want to go through it because they feel like it's some sort of torture, for lack of a better word. But is that it really?
Thank you. It goes again to now and talk about rehabilitation, rehab, habitation. We look at the word habitant. Habitant is a dwelling place, is a safe place where people or living things stay. So the first habitant was good. The first habitant was good. Now, something went wrong. Now we need to be returned back to the first habitat, just like the one repentant. A penthouse is a raised place, a safe and a raised place. That's just like God, created heaven. So there's created Eden. Eden is a raised place, apart from the general creation where He kept the man. So something happened. You're supposed to be returned back to the original state. That's what we're talking about, rehabilitation. Why have we rehabilitating you? Because we've discovered your behavior has changed from being a normal human being to a human being who requires a lot of support. So I would say the challenge with the rehabilitation center is this: the African, who is a very social being, they don't imagine being removed from the social, from their social setting. We normally say that Africans die very fast when they are put in isolation. So there is a loss people go through. It looks like a torture because that's a loss. You're going to leave your mom and dad and your siblings for the next 90 days, assuming we are going to do the 90-day program. So you're going to leave your dad, mom, plus your peers and your social grams for the next 90 days. So it's a significant loss to this particular person. And remember, the first 1 month or so, you're not even supposed to visit this particular person there. They're not supposed to be visited. They need that kind of a serene environment as the detox process takes place. So that in itself now creates resistance. How can I be without Cynthia? I'll be missing what we've been having. So this now begin now what we call now anticipated grief. And that's why people, it becomes very difficult for one to develop the willpower to change. The willingness to go, because if they are not willing, they are not going to be taken. Even when they are going to be taken, they are going to relapse. The willpower becomes now difficult there. But we need to come. That's where we need now to do a lot of sensitization and help people to discover this is not an death sentence. Rehab is not a death sentence. Number 2 is not incarceration. It's not an imprisonment we are taking you through. Number 3, that the people who are there, they are human beings and they have dedicated their life to helping you as an individual. Number 4, these people, they are seeing a lot of potential in you that is supposed to be utilized so that you become independent. And number 5, they are seeing it to be an asset. And they would like you to be able to become now the kind of a person that your creator wanted you to become. So we need to demystify. Actually, demystification of the rehab centers is the one that's supposed to be done so that it does not become that this is a place now for torture. It's another hell on earth. No, it's not a hell on earth. There's a lot of goodies there, because remember, at the rehab centers, there's the medical model which is being used. There's a psychological model that is being used. There's also the spiritual model which is being used. The clergies are there to continue to nourish you with the word of God, because one of the reasons for addiction is spiritual hunger. And remember, nature does not abound a vacuum. If you're not going to serve God, that space whereby you have not filled with God, it will be filled with drugs. Yes, and you are going to worship drugs. Now, this spiritual person is trying to substitute these drugs with the word of God, so that now that vacuum can be filled and become a whole being. Yeah. So let us, and I guess that's when Nakanda, because they've got a bigger voice than an individual, and Nakanda being the arm of the government, need now to really demystify the concept about rehabilitation. That's not a bad place. It's not an incarceration. It's not a place for torture, but it's a good place whereby we have got professionals who are there waiting for you to assist you. Yes.
Yeah, and you've just mentioned the word demystifying. It's not an incarceration. It's not torture. Yes. Now, as we wind it up, Julius, there's a question here that has been posed and says, good morning. Can drug abuse cause schizophrenia, which is the mental disorder? And if so, what are these drugs that can cause it? And can a person who has reached this level of schizophrenia be helped?
Thank you very much. When we look at the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition text revised, and the International Classification of Diseases, they have really talked about substance-induced disorders, and I want to appreciate the person who asked that question. among the diagnostic and statistical manual of mental disorders, we have got conditions that are drug-induced. When an individual has reached a point of having hallucinations and delusions and their logias, they definitely they are having now the split mind. Schizophrenia means a split mind. They have this kind of a point. So yes, drugs are likely to cause schizophrenia, because it's part of the parcel of what now the Psychiatric Association, American Psychiatric Association, has categorized as the cause of mental disorders. Yeah. And we have got many. The most obvious is, of course, this bangi. And a simple one that does not look like a drug. Obviously, I'm coming from the county of Mira, and therefore, this Mira, when it causes mental clash, obviously you're almost heading to that direction. Then, of course, we have these hard drugs like we're talking about now, heroin, cocaine, and the rest. And some of them, they are the normal drugs that are being used even in the medical setting, like Valium is used in the medical setting, but when it is abused, chances are it will cause those kind of mental disorders. Yeah. Yes.
So the question is, can they be helped? Can this person be helped when they reach to that particular level?
Yes, schizophrenia is a condition that actually that's a common condition for the psychiatrists. So an individual who has reached that kind of developing schizophrenia, we've got two types of schizophrenia. We've got genetic schizophrenia and the environmental schizophrenia. So if it is environmental, it is helpable. If it is genetic, it is maintainable. We maintain the psychiatrists do maintenance. And the maintenance whereby they'll be getting the drugs and then at the same time counseling. And I would like to tell people, if they've got that kind of a challenge, we've got one of the best facilities in the country, which people have been taking it for granted, but I've got a good testimony, because during my clinical practicum, when I was doing my undergraduate, I did my attachment, my practicum there. It's Madale Madale Teaching and Referral Hospital. It has got the best services ever for those kind of psychiatric interventions, and it is also the cheapest. And today also we have got now the Chiromo group of hospitals, whereby somebody can go and get the best services ever. So let us not shy off from visiting professionals like Dr. Frankie Jenga, professionals like Dr. Witt and the rest. They can be able to come in had day. At the Kenyatta National Hospital also, they are doing a commendable job.
Yes, Julia, so closing remarks quickly as we wind it up. This is a public health safety concern, the issue of drugs and substance addiction. And it is a big issue because even the underage children have access to drugs and substance abuse. So as we wind it up, really, what more can we do to fight addiction? What can Cynthia do? What more should NACADA do? What more should the government do as we wind it?
Yeah, thank you, Cynthia. What Cynthia should do is to stop delegating responsibility. Let Cynthia shout. There is an advert by NTSA that when you see the driver just driving carelessly, Jusha. So we need to really make noise and try to ensure that from within the family unit, I sensitize my family, and we ensure we have got a no campaign in the family. Then let us have sensitization within the community and the estate where we are. Number 3, we need to now use the media platform like this, because media is a very powerful tool of dissemination of information, like the EBN. We need to utilize those forums and look for people with a good heart like Cynthia, who can be able to give us this kind of platform to do sensitization. NACADA has got more resources than an individual. Let NACADA also shout them more and help to create more awareness. And collectively, let us have now what we call now the collective social CSR. Let us have the community CSR, social corporate social responsibility, and this CSR should begin from the community where we are with our chiefs all the way to the national government level. Let our president continue to make more sensitization like they are doing, and I want to appreciate even the deputy president they are doing. By so doing, then our teachers, let them also stop labeling our children and create forum within the busy schedule of their schools.
Yeah.
Because the child has got the home and the school environment, most of them. Let there be programs and the class in the school whereby the teachers can be able to be helping the student to get more information and the calling professionals within the school, even if it's a 30-minute program. Let also the church not continue with the Bible says there is heaven and hell again. Also let also the clergy stay on the platform and they have forum like this and the professionals come and they talk about topic like this. We might end up becoming busy bodies, having only program that are only touching the spirit, and we are forgetting the soul and the body. So let's have that kind of platform. And today God has blessed the clergies. They've got so many media stations, TVs and the radios. Let them have the opportunity like this. They will be able to help us even rehabilitate the people and let them know that finally when these people have changed from drug abuse, they become washirika wao.
Wow, what a way to end it. Thank you so much, Julius Gitari, a counseling psychologist. What a pleasure to have had you in this morning to have this conversation on fighting drugs and substance abuse. And as you've said, rehabilitation is not incarceration. It's just, we want to take you back to the state that you were before. So it's about the will. As you also plan yourself to get to the wheels of change, be part of the movement that changes people around you to be better. So that is the conversation we'll be having this morning on fighting drugs and substance abuse, or the substance addiction. And I'd quickly love to end it with just the statistics once again that were released by NACADAM. The report shows that, tobacco, alcohol, and heart are the most common used drugs in this country. The report also shows that children as young as 6 years are suspected to begin using these particular drugs. The report also shows that 1 in every Kenyan between 15 and 16 years, or rather 65 years of age, uses at least one drug. 1 in every 3 males and 1 in every 16 females are using at least one drug, which basically says a lot of males are using drugs. And the report also says online sale of drugs exposes a serious public health safety concern to underage children. So also, what do your children have access to online can be part of the change movement. Thank you for your company. For those who've been watching, Teddy Salmis Asante Sana says good morning. Julius Miriti Maore says good morning, watching from Middle East. Good insights. God bless you, Julius.
Thank you.
Your namesake here, as well as Alice Njeru, who's been watching. So thank you for the amazing feedback that has been coming in. You can rewatch this conversation once again if you've missed it on our Facebook page, as well as on our YouTube page on EBN TV. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. Have yourselves a wonderful morning.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you.